This is the E-commerce Brain Trust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our Brain Trust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Hello and welcome back to the E-commerce Brain Trust podcast. I'm your host, Kiri Masters, and this is the second installment of my weekly Amazon News Digest. And in this edition, there are no screaming children in the background, so I think that we're going to have a good conversation today. First of all, Amazon announced yesterday a new charity donation program. And you'll have to excuse my skepticism here on this program. Giving Amazon the benefit of the doubt, I think that this is a great initiative that gives sellers the option to essentially donate their unsold, returned inventory that's currently sitting at FBA. Amazon, on the seller's behalf, will donate that inventory to charities. In their words, divert a lot of products from landfill. So I think it's nice that they're giving sellers the option to do that instead of just destroying it or just sending it back to sellers. But the skeptical side of me says, what's going to stop those charities from turning around and flipping those products on Amazon, or even just selling that inventory on to someone else who will turn around and flip it on Amazon? So I think for brands that have particular concerns around resellers, it may not be a good program for them. I also don't like that they just automatically enrolled all sellers in the program, and if you don't want to be a part of it, you have to go and opt out. So I thought that that was a little bit sneaky. What I think you should do instead of using this program, if you're using FBA, is to always get your inventory returned to you, and then you can donate that inventory to local charities yourself and control the process and have a direct relationship with those charities instead. And of course, by doing that, you can also get a tax benefit directly. There is now a second video option for Amazon storefronts, and this looks pretty cool. First spotted about a month ago, you can now add a background video to your Amazon storefront. This is a video that silently autoplays on a loop, and we've seen a couple of really good examples of this that I'll link up to in the digest. The videos need to be fairly short, between 2 and 20 seconds, and they can really help to reinforce the brand, show some lifestyle imagery, things like that. So this is another way that Amazon's really upping the ante with their storefronts and making those really great branding and merchandising tools for brands. A lot of discussion around this new program called Sold by Amazon, or SBA, which reprices seller product offers. So what is this? Amazon, about a month or so ago, launched a beta program called Sold by Amazon, which lets Amazon control the prices on enrolled FBA products in exchange for a minimum payout to sellers. And so in Amazon's own words, when a customer purchases a SBA product, Amazon will purchase the product from you, the seller, and sell it to the customer. And so that is always going to be for a minimum amount that you set. So let's say you're selling an item for $25 currently. You enroll in this SBA program and you say to Amazon, I don't want to ever be paid less than $22 for this product. So then it's up to Amazon how to price that. They might price it at $28. They might price it under the $22. They might price it at $18, and then they're going to make up the shortfall themselves. And I think that that's why Amazon's really doing this. They want to be able to control the pricing on their site. And the only way that with a seller, the seller always sets the price. And so in a bid to make products on their site more competitive with Walmart and and other marketplaces in particular. I think Amazon wants to get this control back. And they're coming under a lot of scrutiny recently, which I talked about last week, around what they're doing with sellers who sell their products for less on Walmart.com, for example. Even though Amazon took the requirement out of their seller policies, the requirement that sellers must always offer their best price on Amazon, they took that out of their terms and conditions. But in practice, what a lot of sellers found is that if they had their product on Walmart.com, for example, at a lower price, Amazon would restrict that from their search results, or take away the buy box, or do something else like that. So with this program, Amazon is really getting a explicit agreement from the merchant that they can price these products however they wish. I think that's primarily why Amazon's doing it. I also think a couple of other things. It shows how Amazon is increasingly focused on relationships with brands rather than with resellers, because only sellers who are brand registered can use this program. And then in other reports in the media last week, some people suggested that this was another test in Amazon's potential move to combine vendor and seller channels. I think that's a bit of a leap of logic myself. I'm not sure exactly how that would fold into Amazon's master plan of getting a whole bunch of vendors off of Vendor Central and creating a streamlined platform, but that's my opinion. Okay, so if you're a brand and you've been invited to this program, should you consider it? Well, the major downside of this program is you can't currently run any PPC advertising on the enrolled products or lightning deals. A brand that I spoke with last week who had been enrolled in the beta program on some of their products found that their revenue went down during that period because they weren't able to run any advertising. So that is one consideration. Amazon says that they are working on getting advertising available to products enrolled in this program, but we don't know when that is. Another consideration, brands that have a very specific pricing strategy should stay away from SBA. While Amazon's an expert at repricing products, apparently they reprice items on their website up to 2.5 million times a day. Amazon doesn't understand the potential channel conflict that pricing can produce for brands. If you have retail channels, if you're selling to other marketplaces, Amazon offering a really low price on your products can have major impacts on your relationships there. So you should stay away if price consistency is really important to you. And then finally, a reason why you should consider this program is if you're having a lot of trouble with maintaining the buy box due to other sellers being on your product listing for one reason or another. SBA essentially guarantees that the brand won't lose the buy box due to price. Because only brand registered brands can use the program. Resellers will not be able to get the buy box. And so, it may not be an ideal long-term solution for you, but in the short term, if you're able to sort of freeze out these unauthorized sellers and they're not getting any sales, they're possibly not going to try to continue selling your product over the long term. That's fingers crossed. But that's a situation where I think that this program could actually be really helpful for some brands in that situation. Okay, next news item, the latest in political scrutiny is the Amazon Choice Badge. So last week I talked about the various antitrust accusations that Amazon faces. There's a whole bunch of them now, and the latest one is around the use of the Amazon's Choice Badge, which is seen on popular products. The argument here is that the algorithm for designating these products still appears to end up rewarding products that are found to be inferior or misleading in their claims. Yeah, this is, to me, sort of a no-brainer. It's not like anyone at Amazon is hand selecting these products for Amazon Choice, but I guess the point here is that the factors that come into play with giving a product the Amazon's Choice badge are unknown, and why do these products that end up sort of on the naughty list still continue to get this badge. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes if Amazon actually responds to that request for more information there. And then my final news item of this week is about On-Site Associates, which I had never heard of before. It's probably a very little known program. But if you've ever noticed various editorial reviews on Amazon when you search for terms like best fry pan or other research oriented search queries, you'll see like these editorial reviews where it's like the top 3 fry pans, and there'll be a nice long sort of review by someone who appears to be an expert in fry pans. Turns out that these are all part of Amazon's wider affiliate program, where these publishers like Pure Wow, The Wirecutter, etc., and these are all sites that you can find that do tons of product reviews. These publishers all get a commission on the sales that their content helps to generate on Amazon. So if you click through to that editorial review of the fry pan, you pick the one that's rated number 1, then that publisher who created that content is going to end up getting a cut of the sale. So this is pretty interesting. What does it actually mean for brands? Well, if your products end up getting featured in those editorial reviews, then that's probably going to be a great thing for your sales. But the downside is if your brand gets left off one of those lists, there's nothing that you can do about that. And they show up pretty predominantly in search results as well. So having a third party, i.e. the publisher of this content, developing these reviews and making product recommendations, but then that publisher also happens to be compensated by Amazon for resulting sales, it creates kind of a virtuous cycle of only brands and products being rewarded who ended up being written about in those reviews. So it's kind of a tricky ethical kind of challenge, and a challenge that some brands have with the affiliate marketing world in general is that in some cases, I don't think that this is the case with Amazon's online associates program, but in some cases in the shady underworld of affiliate marketing, brands kind of pay to, they're paying these publishers to promote their products. So it's just this program's so under the radar, it's difficult to see where the incentives lie. And according to the piece by Digiday, who sort of broke this story, all of these publishers get paid different amounts as well by Amazon. So must be some kind of tier system where if you help to generate this many sales, you get like 2% of revenue, or if you get to this level, maybe you get 3%. I don't know they didn't specify exactly what the compensation looks like. But this is interesting just to learn about, because I have seen a lot of these pieces of content show up on Amazon and always wondered what the story was. So now when you see one of these our recommendations or whatever it's called, you know where it came from and who's behind it. And that concludes my news roundup for August 14th. Hope you're having a great week, and as always, I welcome your feedback on these weekly news digests.